I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is Mr. or Mistur. I don't know how to pronounce it. The Matriarch's Lament from the big homie Kellen Dross. Kellen Dross is one of my favorite people on the channel. Although, if a person were to watch our dialogues, they'd be like, wow, those guys hate each other. I think Kellen Dross hates me, like, secretly, but he doesn't want to admit it. But I love him. I think he's great. He's one of my favorite people on the channel. So anyway,
Who can say?
For timely, topical, political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori.
Love-hate relationship with you anyway.
It's true. People, that's a very valid point.
Yeah.
People generally are. It's love and hate.
So much intensity.
Yeah.
I too have been known to be very angry.
Okay. For timely, topical, political commentary, hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. There's multiple ways to get your song reviewed. Dare listen up! One way is my favorite way, the community option. $1 at the gate gets you into a Patreon alliance where you get to hook up with cool, like-minded people. $1 at the gate, you get the friendship, the fun, the family.
They do all kinds of stuff. And
they got
some D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons. There's, I keep saying Fortnite, but it's not Fortnite. It's
Minecraft.
Zonia is eventually going to shoot a video, I think, and then you guys will be able to see all the other stuff. If you're a filthy capitalist like Kellen Dross and Sori, $125 at the gate gets you zoomed right to the front of the line.
You know what you want to get it done, and you want to get it right in there right away. And you don't have to work with a team, you just want to have it.
Yeah.
Like, do you work with a team when you go down to get a Red Bull? No, you want that Red Bull, you go and you buy it. That's what this option is. It's $125. Your first, second, and third review, and anything after that is $75. So, that is how this one got put on the list. And I am ready to start. Are you?
Yes, I am.
You can do that through Patreon or PayPal, but all those options are in the link in the description. Oh, more police brutality. Wonderful.
Stop it. All right, let's go. Ready? Okay, so this is one. You know, I always say like, oh, I wonder if this is a concept record. This has to be a concept record because the song ends with like a. I don't know if he's saying a baby being born, but
huh?
Not born, but it's a baby.
Yeah.
A small one lies
They
still,
threw
waits
it
and
in
draws breath.
Somebody raided their village. They were burning the roofs. They were doing all kinds of chaos, killing a bunch of people. There's blood everywhere. The mother loses track of the baby, can't find the baby, probably thinks the baby's dead. Her son was nowhere to be found. But then it says, mother is gone. Every loved one slaughter, embrace the chaos endure. Buried in a pit under weight of many, a small one lies still, waits and draws breath. I mean, it's over. Mm-hmm. How's that baby going to survive out of that? Unless she goes picking through the bodies to find it.
Well, she's dead. She can't do that.
Oh, you think she died? Oh, well.
It says she died. It says mother's gone.
Yeah, I didn't know which type of gone.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's like a fantasy type thing where the kid emerges and he survives and he... I mean, that motif is pretty common, right? Like
what's the name of the next song?
In the Old Testament, you know, like all the babies getting dumped in the Nile, Moses gets saved. In the New Testament, all the babies. And then in Chronicles, where the lady was trying to take out all the rightful kings of Judah to set up her own, and then there was one kid that was left. There's one son that was left, and then everybody hit him, and then the guards went and killed the mother. So this is a common motif. So I'm sure that kid is gonna rise up and be the, you know, whatever.
The next great
whatever thingamajiggy. So it's a pretty common story arc.
Well, what's the name of the next song on there?
I don't know the name of the next song.
Well,
I mean, the name of the album is In Memoriam.
Okay, so that was... Oh, the one right before that was Firstborn Son, then Matriarch, Lament, The Sight,
and then Tears of Remembrance.
Wow, there's not many songs on this album.
Yeah, so I'm assuming the Firstborn Son is about the kid, and he's probably supposed to be some messianic figure. And then Matriarch's Lament, the guys raid the town, and then, the kid finds some way to claw back into his whatever majiggy.
Well,
you think the kid is gonna die?
Well, no, I just didn't see how there could be any other way. I mean, how would anybody know there was a baby in the bottom of the pile of bodies?
Well, why would they mention that if the kid just died? It says the kid drew breath. I mean, I think the author is intending for you to...
Yeah, maybe.
To garner some hope
maybe
from
I'm embracing some nihilism. I don't know.
Yeah, you look angry. What's wrong with you?
I don't like it. The baby, the mom, the son.
I mean, it's the story of the world, miss.
Yes, well...
It's the story of the world. What's wrong with you?
I don't like that.
I see. I'm skipping. Yeah.
And I wasn't a fan of the
But to him, were nothing to happen again, the orphan sat patiently ready to kill. So, there he is. He's alive. He's an orphan. And he's about to do some jihad. So, I was right. As usual! I can't believe you couldn't tell where that was going at the end.
I finally know what the song's about. You're always like, how can you not know? I finally know what the song's about. Now you're like, wow, I can't believe you didn't know where this is going. There's just so much negativity from you.
It's not negativity. That was me saying I overestimated you.
No. Okay.
How's that negativity?
He's like, don't take that as an insult.
If I were to say,
I overestimated you.
Yeah, if I were to say,
imbecile?
if I were to say, oh yeah, I would expect you to miss something as obvious as that, then I think that would be insulting.
There's some intellectual abuse going on here for sure.
I remember the first time we shot that video, and like you like cursed me out and said some horrible thing or whatever to me, and I didn't respond in kind because I'm such a gentle Christian.
Oh my word! Okay.
And the guy at the bottom was like, Sori is being emotionally bullied by Vin when you were the one that white woman in distress.
Help me!
White woman in distress. I was talking to my brother about something yesterday, and he was like, yo, that white woman in distress thing is real, bro. Shout out to the big homie. Okay.
Yeah, you guys are funny. You guys love comment sections on stuff.
Oh,
like you, Zoe.
I can't tell you how much I enjoy comment sections, especially the real, like the ones on the Middle America one with the Trump fascist thing. Oh my gosh.
They must be.
There's this one lady. This one guy had so many like spelling errors or whatever in what he was saying. He was like, he said all this type of stuff, and I could pretty much make out what he was saying in spite of the spelling and grammatical errors. It was almost like another language. that these people speak. And and then at the end of it, he said, "Facts don't care about your feelings," or whatever, which is it's a Ben Shapiro line. But it was just hilarious because it was like I told brother, I said, do me a favor, rewrite your entire comment with proper grammatical constructions, and then we'll have a conversation. I don't know what the hell.
Do you think he spoke another language and he was trying to do English, or
no? This is a guy. I'm gonna get in trouble. Let's just focus on this song. It was English, but it was. We continue. Okay, so how long could it have been since the last time she saw the horizon and the sun except through ashes? Now this is kind of terrible because there's only 2 more songs after this. Mm-hmm. So the third song is Firstborn Son, which I'm assuming is probably a hopeful song. You know the thing that really annoyed me about this band was right here when they got to the melodic part and they started singing. Mm-hmm. I think it was the in her final moments, that stanza right there, and they started getting melodic. The production was not where I would have liked it to have been. I couldn't make out what the words were except for we'll post the lyrics down there because the lyrics we couldn't find them. We eventually found them. We'll post the lyrics in the description thingamajiggy so that you can actually follow along. But this to me was like could have been at a next other level if they were able to have better production.
Yeah.
So that stuff bothers me because at the end of the day it comes down to money. You know what I mean? Like I'm assuming that this is not like a gigantic band, and so you gotta kind of work around and whatever with production quality, but so that bothered me a little bit because that was a really
that's confusing
salient moment in the song.
I feel like at this day and age that what we can pull off in this room.
No, like remember that song that I jumped on that I featured on where I was rapping, like there was a clear difference between the quality of that than the stuff that we put together in
Garage. How much do you think he was spending?
Well, he had an entire studio. I mean, he had noise canceling, the foam and all that. Like, it was like literally...
So you think this band didn't have any of that stuff?
Well, I think...
Sometimes I feel like they embrace the suck. Like, they want it to kind of sound...
I don't think so. Like, if it's like a traditional, like, black metal band, like Mayhem or something like that, or I forgot the name of the bands, but like where the goal is to sound bad and to not sound good, then fine. But, they were... being melodic, and you could tell with the musicianship that these guys are badass musicians, and it just didn't translate as well, especially the vocal parts for me. And no, I don't think it's as simple as setting something up in GarageBand and doing it. I think it's a lot more common. Remember that time we did?
No, I'm not saying that it's as simple as setting it up in GarageBand. I'm just saying that. Well, when did the song come out? It just seems like if you can do that now, it seems like what they should be able to do at a little studio must be actually pretty amazing by now.
Yeah, I think it's vastly different. And that was just with rap. That was just with rap, which is really just a drum machine and whatever and vocals, not, metal where you've got to deal with guitars and all the rest of it. So no. I don't think so. Like that song that I'm working on with that video, and we're not going to release it on this side, but that song that I'm working on, I'm sending it to a guy, but he's got an actual, he's a Grammy nominated blah blah blah, so it's gonna be better, you know what I mean, than if I was to do it on GarageBand. So so that's no disrespect to the band. That's me saying I would have liked to have heard the lyrics and the sounds be more distinct, because I really enjoyed that part. And I thought it was perfectly placed in the song based on what was happening in the story of what was going on. What were you thinking? So you were just upset about the kid because you thought the kid died, or like you thought the song ended on a negative note?
Well, at first I didn't know how old the son was. And so I didn't know if the son was off to war and he was returning and there was all this chaos in the village and he was trying to find his mom, because... it's just because I'm thinking about my own kids, you know what I mean? Like, I'm picturing Orion, I'm picturing like a brolicky version of you, only taller, and he goes off, and then he comes back, and he's trying to find me, and there's all this craziness going on. Then in her final moment, she was torn apart. The air was filled with flames, and woe, and they lost all faith. The widow saw her son was nowhere to be found. And so, like, you know, in movies, like, when you have that scene where, like, the person is trying to get to the person before it's too late.
Yeah.
And sometimes they make it, and you're like, wow, how convenient. And then there's other times where they don't make it, and you're like, it's just a sad moment, you know? You wanted them to make it. So anyway, so I thought maybe at first that was what was happening, and so she was looking for her son because she was a widow, so she didn't have her husband anymore. And so, but then when it carried on, I said, whoa, a small one lies still, waits and draws breath. Then I realized that the son was actually a baby, and so she died, and that the baby was still alive in this pile of bodies, and that was just a sad picture. And then I was thinking, I just thought that it was just the baby dies.
I was listening to Joe Rogan yesterday, and I think the guy from Queen of the Stone Age or whatever.
I don't want to hear about babies dying.
And I'm with you. And it was a really kind of weird thing watching these guys talk, because they were talking about the Aztecs and the Inca and all this, and they were talking about how Cortez and those boys just jumped off the boat, hung out with them for a little bit, and slaughtered a whole mass of them. And you're like, just like, what? It's crazy. But then you're sitting here hearing that, and then then you hear that on one day the Aztecs. I can't even believe that this number is accurate. There's no way. I don't care. I was very, very fascinated with the Aztecs and the Inca and the Maya when I was in the 5th grade. I think it was Challenger Elementary School in Florida. And we had a social studies teacher who was a horrible person, a terrible person. I'm not even going to get into it. It's deep South Florida. Do the math. But she was very passionate about that time period and the stories and all that. So she painted such a vivid picture. And so when I saw that come up in my YouTube feed about the Aztecs and all that, I was like, oh, yeah. So anyway, so you're hearing about, Cortez and all blah, 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 and I'm getting it mixed up between Aztec, Inca, and Maya, because I think they were successive in the Americas, so you're like, oh, that's terrible, those damn Spaniards that jumped off the boat and killed all those poor people. Well, the Aztecs had this ritual, and to this moment, when my teacher told me, and when I heard it reiterated in Joe Rogan, I still don't believe it. They sacrificed 84,000 people in one day. People, human beings, 84,000, and I'm like, human beings' propensity for megadeath is absolutely, it's a crazy thing to me. So, on the one hand, like, we as a collective,
that's so gross too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's horrible and like emotional, like, but then there's also like the raw, like, what do you do with all that blood and bodies?
I know.
84,000.
That's why I'm saying, like, 8,400 would be a nightmare. 84,000, really? I don't even know if we could do that today. Like, how do you get all those people to wait in line and get slaughtered like that? I don't know. Population, like, come on. I don't know. I don't believe it is exactly the 84,000 number, but it does say that, this is just mass slaughter all day. And like, you're seeing this as a kid, and this is just, you have to feel like, oh, this is just normal. This is what people do. And that's the thing that, really gets me about human nature is how, and you can look at it from the God angle and say that our adaptability to horror is a mechanism that God gave us so that we can continue, or you can
it can be positive or
look
negative.
at it from a Darwinian perspective and say our adaptability to horror is something that we needed to evolve in order to survive, because
I thought you were saying there's a positive angle to say that God gave it to help us to survive, or you could look at it as you get this, but it's not a good thing because it makes it sometimes that people get desensitized and create
it's a
lot more evil.
Right. It's a both and. And that's what I was saying is, like, our propensity to be desensitized to human suffering, to man-made cause human suffering, if it's our government or if it's our tribe or our race or our clan, if our clan is doing it to somebody else, we're very quick to be able to adapt to that and just move on like nothing happened. Like, you know, I talked about the pine nut farmers. We killed like 30 plus pine nut farmers. It was in the news, and like Americans can just
Yep.
just, yeah. You know, or I'll say we killed 250,000 to 1 million civilians in Iraq. And you know what happens? Every time I say 250 to 1 million, people always say that 1 million number is exaggerated. Like they'll jump on any little, it's just, but it's not just Americans. It's just human nature, man. It's human nature. Like if we abolished abortion today, 40 years from now when a kid is in a high school, they'll look back on us and say, can you believe they were slicing up babies in their own mother? Oh my, what, these people are savages. Meanwhile, in 40 years, they're probably going to be liquidating the elderly once they've expended all their usefulness. And everybody is just, we just go along with it and we can adapt and we're desensitized to the horror and we keep it moving. And I think that that's what's happening in our current cultural zeitgeist. Because what's happening is you got a bunch of people saying, yo, they're killing us on TV. And then you have another group of people saying, well, he wasn't really a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just have this capacity. And if the roles were reversed and we were the dominant and we were oppressing a bunch of, it would be the exact same way. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're having such a hard time in our culture right now talking to each other, because you have one group of people who is completely desensitized to the concept of these group of people are human beings. Like you're socialized at such a young age that, hey, this is how they came here and da, and they're having a very hard time humanizing these people, which is why it's not until like it's not until people like you come in contact with people like me to now you have a real stake in it. Now it's different. But I
saw it before I had a stake in it, though.
I agree.
Not fair to say
to
that.
a degree.
Yeah.
To a degree. But no, I'm with you. But I'm especially around Christianity in the evangelicalism. This brother right there's like two guys that are really like going for it and pushing for it, but it just so happens that he's got two adopted black kids. So he's
not being taken.
This guy is in a complete island by himself.
Yeah.
Because he's in the reformed world, and you know how those people are. Forget it. Yeah, they're I mean, I'll tell you.
I can't believe some of the stuff I've seen.
Right.
I'm broken over it.
I have not seen
honest to goodness,
a more ruthless group of people than American evangelicals.
Honest to goodness, the posts that I've been seeing, the worst ones, it's always a Christian.
They're absolutely...
I can't believe it.
Absolutely ruthless.
And they don't want to have any discussion on the topic either. They want to just be able to put out their craziness, and they don't want anyone questioning them, because then they're going to say you're stirring up trouble. Yeah. And meanwhile, your atheist friends are losing their minds and literally putting their bodies on the line for justice. But so shout out to all the atheists. But like I said, it's beyond like white or black or American or whatever. It's just we are vicious, bloody set of people, man. And so I'm driving and I was thinking about my brother, because you know my brother is he's dark skinned, he's about 5-6 inches taller than me or whatever, and I was just thinking about, you know, I don't want him to be on the wrong side of one of these videos. I worry about him a lot.
But then I thought to myself about living in ancient Rome, and they'd have these crucifixions and they just randomly nab you up, and I just imagine like seeing my brother crucified, and like this was standard fear for these people. So on the one hand, it's like we got a long way to go as the collective human consciousness goes, you know, not to get too meta on everybody, but we're in a Bible boogie one time and Peter said, like, where do you think we are as because I was talking about humanity as one you know, body, and I said, well, we're kind of adolescent. Like we're not old enough to live on our own, but we're old enough to drive and crash and destroy shit. So yeah, the song was pretty crazy in that regard, as far as how many and we've heard lyrics like this over and over again in a lot of these, you know, especially with this type of genre. But I don't know, it just kind of hit me in a different way. You know, they carved, killed, and raped the whole ground seeped with red. I mean, good night. Like, that actually, I mean, this is a song, but like, that actually happened to people.
Yeah.
On a massive level.
Yep.
For a long time, and that was just the common seats and Lament for a lot of these people. And I just think that it's just crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. What do you give the song?
It was like a 7 for me, because I wasn't really into the lyrical style. Or maybe it was just today I didn't really like the lyrical style. And I would have wanted some better production as well. Yeah, and there was like nothing to me that was like super like, whoa, about the lyrics. I don't know. Nothing really stood out to me.
It's an 8.5 for me. The production quality hurt it a little bit. I really like that melodic part. I sometimes with melody, like if there's a lot of like, the way that it started was really awesome, very melodic and kind of dreamy. Then it went to kind of like black metal type.
Oh, I liked the beginning a lot, yeah.
And then it went back to the melody, and I really, really liked that whole template. And I wish I could have heard it better, but yeah, 8.5 for me.
There you have it.
Vin out.
It's already out.
Gone.
Did we say this was from Kellen Dross? We did at the beginning, right?
We did.
Shout out.
Watch all.